The California Interscholastic Federation has changed the rules for this weekend's state track championship, now allowing female athletes to compete even if they were short of qualifying behind a transgender athlete. That change comes after the president threatened to pull funding from the state and possibly even send in the authorities. Evita Duffy is the host of Bongino Report Early Edition, and she joins me now. Evita, California trying to split the baby here. Is it a good enough solution?
Listen, it's ridiculous to me that we, as a young woman, we even have this issue to begin with. This is the party, right? The Democratic Party of feminism, of women. They're standing up for allegedly my gender, and yet here they are constantly at every turn turning their back on young women and girls. And that this would even be an argument to be had in today's day and age is just shocking to me, and it's wonderful to see President Trump turn all of the narratives on their heads and say, you know what, I'm going to be the one to actually stand up for women and girls in this day and age. It's really beautiful. Yeah, some families aren't satisfied, like you are not still satisfied by this answer. One competitor's family telling Fox News Digital, quote, "We are grateful that President Trump is fighting for female athletes and giving them a fair shot to compete on a level playing field." CIF, that is the California Interscholastic Federation, their solution to this situation is not good enough. It's still an unfair competition and an injustice to the girls competing. Let's go political for a second here, Evita. Governor Newsom himself called boys competing in girls' sports, quote, unfair. But is this strategy of California trying to play both sides really going to work if Newsom ends up running for president? Well, I think it's not really, I don't even know if it's California trying to play both sides, because I think most of Gavin Newsom's colleagues on the political left wouldn't agree with him on this. It's Gavin Newsom trying to play both sides, because this is a man with a lot of political ambition. This is somebody who clearly wants to run for president one day, and it's why he's spending time on a podcast interviewing people on the political right instead of actually running the state of California. I think that he'd be much better off genuinely running his state, being an authentic person. And I think if you look at the way that he's been switching back and forth, trying to play both sides, both people on the political left and political right are noticing this and saying, he's just inauthentic. Yeah. How can we trust this guy if he's changing his mind every other day? Authenticity, a problem for the Democrats up and down their party. Meantime, after Trump made massive gains with young voters who seem to value authenticity, New York Magazine is questioning whether Gen Z Republicans are a blip or a trend. They write the following, quote, "If Democrats want to reset Gen Z in a more favorable direction, they should focus on the quality of life issues that appear to have pushed the youngest voters away from them in 2024 and find a way to communicate with young men that doesn't treat them as inherently deplorable." What a great strategy. Don't insult the people you need votes from. Will that reset work, or is it already too late for Democrats to fix this? Listen, I fear that it's already too late for them. They can try and pour as much money as they want down this rabbit hole. I'm not sure it's really going to work. But if you think about who Gen Z is, right, this is a generation that has been through the ringer, right? They've grown up with the lockdowns, insane gender theory, girls losing opportunities to biological men. We just went through 4 years with a senile president. Politically left and right-wing Gen Zers are both appalled that Joe Biden was president at all. Plus, we're living through the emergence of AI, profound inauthenticity. So this is a generation that I think is really craving realness, craving tradition, craving truth. They know that they're emotionally, practically, spiritually missing something. And that's why you're seeing a vibe shift. And the vibe shift is not to the political left. I don't think that pouring money into this is really going to work, because what you're seeing is Gen Z, black, white, brown, male, female, is more right-wing than their millennial counterparts. If you look at even Gen Z, the way nearly 30% of Gen Z males swung for President Trump in 2024, there's something unprecedented happening, and Democrats just don't seem to have the edge. I'm glad you mentioned spiritual, because Chicago's Archdiocese announcing Pope Leo XIV will be sharing a special video message for the young people of the world at Rate Field next month. That's a home game for the Pope. He's from Chicago. About 20 seconds to you. Are you optimistic this Pope will be the one to bring back the youth into the church? Again, 20 seconds. There's some negativity about this new Pope Leo on the political right, and then some people on the political right trying to claim them as his. I will say I'm very optimistic. I'm excited to have an American Pope, and I love that he's from Chicago as a U Chicago graduate myself. I love that. I knew you'd get the U Chicago thing in there. Evita Duffy, always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you very much. And
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.